biggest things that everybody is seeing happening, and everybody, is the Republican Party has become more dynamic. It's become more diverse. We're taking from the Democrats. We're taking from the independents. We have a lot more people. So many places. You go to different places in China, different places in Asia, different places in the Middle East. You look at some of the airports they have. You look at the roadways they have. You look at the transportation systems they have and the trains they have. We're like a third world country.
We're hearing some suggestions, including some from a few of your former aides, that some people inside the Republican National Committee are considering monkey wrenching with your delegates at the state level, trying to clear you away and maybe even put...
This video is one of the funniest videos ever. Because I don't know if you remember this, but Christie stands there, emasculated, like Trump, like he's in a cock cage, and just stands there. This is like this kind of power show of Donald Trump, where he has an alpha male, Christie, standing there with his balls in a cage, and Trump just gives a speech with Christie just standing back there weirdly. For 30 minutes. I think this speech went on for like 15, 30 minutes. Christie just stood there. It was the weirdest thing. And then didn't even get the vice presidential pick. He went with Mike Pence. Didn't even get the AG pick, for that matter. Christie has had a come to Jesus moment on COVID-19. As you know, he's one of Trump's compatriots. He was with Donald Trump in his debate prep for Joe Biden. And they didn't wear a mask. People understood around Donald Trump that wearing a mask to Donald Trump was seen as unmanly. And Christie, of course, front man, is not going to be unmanly and emasculated by wearing this feminine device on people's face. They're not going to do that. They're going to do the manly thing and get COVID-19 and nearly choke to death and die in intensive care. Get me to the hospital. I'm overweight. I'm Christie. Get me to the hospital. Christie spent 7 days in intensive care with also experimental drugs filling his body to remove the COVID-19 that was already stuffed in his body. Christie has had to come to Jesus. He's not pulling this I'm a tough man stuff like Donald Trump. No. 7 days in intensive care broke him like a boy. And now, pro-mask, pro-doctor, do everything that you can, save as many lives as you can. I did America a disservice, etc., etc. I'm going to let you hear it from Christie himself, because you have to come to a realization that there are people who listen to you, who look up to you in public life. And if you are taking a position and a cadence, especially in line with Donald Trump, with this perspective that this is not as dire as it is, this is not as important as it is not as potential for death as is there, especially with comorbidities like Christie's overweightness. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he has asthma. So this was really stupidity on a grand scale for Christie. I'm going to let Christie give his own come to Jesus. And I want to sit here and enjoy it, knowing that there are a lot of people who are not here to enjoy this come to Jesus, because those people died of a virus that him and his boss downplayed. Welcome to the soapbox. My name is Jamarl Thomas. This is the Progressive Soapbox. Guys, if you dig this content, please like, share, and subscribe. You can also support this content through PayPal or through Patreon. This content is brought to you by you, and I would like to thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to do this. Yes, this is me dancing on Christie's grave for the moment, to take this kind of ironic twist of a term. I enjoyed watching this because, to me, the cadence of the government got people killed, whether that's through the active mechanisms of government itself that were not used in order to ameliorate the concerns and the hardships of the people who were either potential people who were going to get sick and people who are not here now. for not supplying the mask, for not ensuring that there were enough vaporizers, ventilators, and devices. It was the job of this government to do that, even from the standpoint of kids going back to school, not even having an idea and understanding of that. The government was more interested in getting the economy, and by the economy, government explicitly means the stock market, up and running. It was not all that interested in regular, everyday Americans. And you could see that just from the standpoint of the miserly cash that was given to the American public, with the explicit interest in ensuring that people remain desperate so they will be forced back to work. If you have to deal with the potential for an illness versus paying your rent and paying for your kid to eat, you're going to go to work and you're going to pray to God and you're going to pay those bills. And that's assuming you even are fortunate enough to have a job that's there. That's assuming what fortunate means in this context. Yeah, I want to see him eat crow. Let's hear Christie from the intensive care unit. Kumbaya, I'm sorry, America. I got this one wrong.
Telling people that there is no downside to you wearing masks. Leaders all across the politics, sports, the media should be saying to people, put your masks on and be safe until we get a vaccine. I let my guard down. I made a mistake. I was wrong. And I'm fortunate to be sitting here this morning in good health.
We need to be telling people there's no doubt.
I could have listened to more of that. A little bit more graveling. He did put out a letter, so let's read some of the letter, because the letter is a little bit better. Right here. I am happy and fortunate to inform that I have recovered from COVID-19. Before the good news, however, I spent 7 days in an intensive care unit of Morrisontown Medical Center to get treatment and to ensure the good result for me and my family. I want to thank the doctors and nurses and the skillful, compassionate care. I want to thank the manufacturers of Remdesivir and the Eli Lilly's monoclonal antibody cocktail, and for giving me access to their extraordinary treatments. I am confident that all of those factors contributed to my good health today. When you have 7 days in an intensive care unit, though, you have time to do a lot of thinking, and I did, and I've come to the following conclusions. Let's let you see his conclusions. I believe that when I entered the White House grounds, I had entered a safe zone due to the testing, and many others, underwent every day. I was wrong. I was wrong not to wear a mask at the Amy Coney Barrett announcement, and I was wrong not to wear a mask at the multi-debate prep sessions with the president and the rest of the team. I thought that the experiment shows my fellow citizens that you should follow CDC guidelines in public, no matter where you are, and wear a mask to protect yourself and others. Having had this virus, I can also assure those that have not had it of a few things. It is something to take very seriously. The ramifications are wildly random and potentially deadly. No one should be happy about getting the virus, and no one should be cavalier about being infected or infecting others. But as a former public official, I believe we have not treated Americans as adults who understand truth, sacrifice, and responsibility, and I know them to be. I have also concluded that, like much else in 2020, that the virus is governed by our two dominant political and media extremes. Those who believe there is nothing, and those who believe, or who are alarmists, who continue to close down the country and not trust common sense of American people. Now, here's the thing. It's not common sense. You don't have a choice. There is no choice in this matter. You're playing a video game, and the video game says you have to pick up a baby, or not, and it waits for you to pick up the baby. Now, the catch is, it's giving you a choice to do so, but the game doesn't move unless you pick up the child. Is it really a choice? Now, yes, you can leave the video game and you can go do something else, or you can pick up the baby and proceed with the game. But you just bought this game. You paid like $70 for this game. Is it really a choice? I'm making a point that saying that people have choice about going back to work and they can make the best choices for themselves belies the point that opening up a business forces the person to work at that business. Now, that person could say, yeah, I'm not going to take my job back. But what does that mean in the sense of them having an income and not having any money to pay for their ends? This is kind of my point. The government basically shut things down and then didn't provide for resources to ensure that those people were whole. You could have shut things down and ensured people were whole. We just didn't do it. And unfortunately, people like Christie, who didn't see the big deal with not wearing masks prior, contributed to a lot of those people being ill and a lot of those people being sick and dying. And even in a my bad letter, you still put in Republican ideology of fucking over the poor. And that's great. But look, at the end of the day, Christie has had his come to Jesus. He's to some degree apologized for not taking this as seriously as he needed to, especially as a public official. And so, fair enough. Still a cretin, horrible. At some point is probably going to run for president. But at the end of the day, he basically acknowledges, yes, I nearly died from this. This is indeed a big deal. And I should have dealt with the public more honestly and wholly. Yes, you should have. Like, share, and of course,